Curry, man. He hits, Steph Curry hits like a long three. Then he takes it to the basket. He makes like a short jumper. Then he hits another long three. And then he takes it to the basket. He scored 10 points in a row. So they had a 6-point deficit. And when he got done, they had a 4-point lead with like 40 seconds to go. And then, of course, last night was KLAY Thompson's first game back in Golden State. So the entire crowd gave him, I swear, a 10-minute standing ovation. It was the coolest thing ever. I mean, it was the longest standing ovation I've ever seen for a player to return home for his first game. And they all were wearing these captain hats, like these, like a boat captain, like a little white, like Gilligan's Island, the skipper in Gilligan's Island. Like they gave out all these captains' hats to the entire arena, the whole stadium. So everyone in the stadium, all 25,000 people, had the skipper from Gilligan's Island captain hat on. And and then when KLAY arrived at the Chase Center, right, the new stadium where the Golden State Warriors play, when he arrived at the Chase Center, there were 100 employees lined up in the tunnel underneath the stadium, all in the back, all lined up in the tunnel with the captain's hat, all greeting him. I mean, they loved KLAY. Wow. He was beloved by the entire organization, by obviously the whole fan base and the players. I mean, he's playing against Draymond and KLAY. I mean, Draymond and Steph, and he won like all those championships. I mean, it was great. It was a great game too. I mean, it was a great game.
I'm gonna go watch the rerun because so Golden State pulled it out.
Well, Steph pulled it out. Steph's ridiculous. I mean, Steph is ridiculous, and Reggie Miller is calling the game for TNT.
Yeah.
And, at some point in the game, Reggie Miller says, the greatest shooter who ever lived just sank another one. And, I was telling my son Roman later, I was talking about it. I said, listen, it's one thing for you and I to call him the greatest shooter who ever lived. but when possibly the second greatest shooter who ever lived is calling him, without a doubt, the greatest shooter who ever lived. I mean, like, Steph is so good now that not only is he a greatest shooter, but there's not even a second place anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ray Allen or Reggie Miller or, I don't know who else, like some of the greatest shooters ever, Jerry West. I don't know, some of the great, like, Kobe's
Pistol Pete. Is Pistol Pete considered a good shooter?
No, he is more of a playmaker, ball handler, shooter, right?
And Bernard King was a scorer, right? Bernard King really
Kobe can't be, because Kobe missed more shots than anybody in NBA history, so he can't be considered a great shooter. I mean, Kobe was a great player, but Steph Curry is the greatest shooter who ever lived, and there's no debate. Like no one can come from the 60s or 70s and go, wait a minute, now come on now. You can't like dismiss downtown Freddie Brown, or like no one can come back and say anything. Like, he's the greatest shooter who ever lived.
Yeah, it's really freaky too, because like, when he played at Davidson, like obviously he was really good, but he wasn't like looked upon that he was going to be as good as he is now. It's like so weird and incredible.
But you got to remember though, buddy, he put Davidson on the map.
Oh yeah.
Because until he went to Davidson, the only thing that you and I ever saw was Davidson Chevrolet in Rome, New York, where they sold the cars. Right? I mean, we didn't know that there was a Davidson College.
Yeah,
you ever Davidson College?
No, I didn't even know where they were. Is it in Ohio? I still don't know.
It's in North Carolina.
Yeah, I still don't know where the heck it is.
Here's the best part. Steph's father is Del Curry. Del Curry played like 16 years in the NBA. He was mostly a backup. He was a sub. He was a great shooter. He was a great outside shooter. He played 16 years. I think most of his years, I don't even know if there was a 3-point line when Del played, or at least it wasn't used. Like, so here's the thing. Del Curry, when Steph's coming out of high school, I think in Charlotte, North Carolina, he played at some high school in Charlotte. Del Curry calls Virginia Tech University, and he gets Seth Greenberg, the coach, who's now working for ESPN, right? He gets Seth Greenberg on the phone, and he says, listen, my son, I'm Del Curry. I played there. I played at Virginia Tech, back in the 80s. And my son, Steph, is one of the best players in the state, and I'd like for him to come to Virginia Tech. And Seth Greenberg says, yeah, you know what? We got enough guards. We're good with guards.
What a knucklehead.
And so then Del Curry says, no, listen, I don't think you understand. Like, I played at Virginia Tech. I played in the NBA for 16 years. My son is better than me. Like, my son's better than me. Like, you don't understand. He said, I'm handing him to you. And again, Seth Greenberg says, no, we're good. We got all the guards we need. So Steph has to go. Steph doesn't get recruited by North Carolina or North Carolina State.
No.
Duke doesn't get recruited any of them because he was very small.
Yeah.
So he has to go to Davidson. And again, he puts Davidson on the map because until then, like, what Davidson car dealership in Rome, New York? What was that? Did they do Chevrolet or what did they do?
Yeah, it was Davidson Chevrolet on Black River Boulevard, upper Black River Boulevard. Yeah.
Okay, so tell Ankin, ask Ankin, hey, did you ever hear of Davidson beyond the Chevrolet until Steph went to college there? Like, ask him.
No, but that's funny. But that Seth Greenberg, what a knucklehead! Because first of all, out of respect for Del Curry, who's an alumni of the program. Secondly, who
not
played
just
in the
an alumni. I think the longest tenured NBA player who ever went to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, because they don't have their hoops is whatever it is. I mean, they're known for a football program. But the thing was, out of respect that he's an alumni, I respect that was a great player there, and he was an NBA veteran of, like you said, 16 years. You give the kid a look-see. They just going to give the kid a look-see. What are you doing?
I mean, and here's the thing. Okay, Steph took Davidson to the Final 8, and they lost to Kansas. Number 1 Kansas. They lost in like the last 2-3 seconds, right? Like someone missed a 3-pointer at the last 2 or 3 seconds. If Steph went to Virginia Tech, he would have had them in the championship game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he would have been in the Final 4.
Yeah. So that's a funny story. I wonder if Del Curry ever came along down the road. He just came across Seth Greenberg again, like down the road, and said, hey, you got to screw up there, buddy.
So Seth Greenberg got fired because he was at Virginia Tech for 5 or 6 years, and he never made the Final 4. He never made the big dance because he was always like not picked. Like, they were always a controversial omission. When they picked everyone for the dance, they never were Final 64. And so there was always a controversy every year. Like, how could Virginia Tech not make it? They got 22 wins. They play in the ACC. So he never made the dance. He never made March Madness. So he got fired, but he lucked out. He landed on his feet. Like, he's worked at ESPN for years.
That's what he's done. The rest of his life, that's what he's done, the college basketball analysis. So let me ask you that game. So you're right. It's really weird. Like, sometimes when you talk to someone, like especially knowledgeable people about hoops and sports like sometimes you take it for granted, these guys like that Seth Curry, he's been doing it forever. His brother's a great shooter too, but it's like, he's been doing it forever, and you take it for granted. You really do. Like, you kind of take it for granted. And then when you put that little take on it and you like watch it, and then you talk to your son about it, and then, I got to go back and watch the game now because I want to watch it. I'm sure Clay probably played pretty good too. He's a decent shooter too. I mean, did Clay play?
No, Clay played a good game too. Clay missed a couple shots at the end, but Clay was draining threes. He scored like 22 points. Steph ended up with 37 points. Draymond played a great game. Like, it was a great NBA game.
I got to go watch that game. I got to go watch the rerun of that game because I wanted to watch it, and then I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay up. And then I forgot about it. And then I get on this thing with you here today. We're talking on our podcast, and you're like reminding me of why I should watch it. Like, because this is like history. The guy's like a freak. The guy's is the best shooter ever. And you got to watch it. And that's a good story too, because Clay, like you said, they loved him there. I love that idea that they all wore the captain's hat. I think he wears that hat when he goes I think in the summer, like, doesn't he go boating too?
Yeah, I think something about he's connected. I don't remember him in the captain's hat. I don't remember him, but I think he's connected. Obviously he's connected to the hat because they passed out 25,000 of them last night.
I think in the summer, like, I think I've seen pictures of him on a boat. I think he likes to go boating and he wears that hat. And so that was like his little thing. But that's a great story. Like, it's interesting because I'm glad that we see him. I'm glad I'm still alive to see a guy like that because we've seen way back and now we see now. Like, I'm glad I've seen it all, right? Because there's still some guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm glad I saw Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I love it.
Well, you and I have been NBA fans for almost 50 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, we started following, the NBA when it was on tape delay, when the finals were on tape delay. Like it wasn't like the game was played at 7:30 at night, but we didn't get it until 10:30. Like they tape delayed it. It wasn't even live.
There was no one at the games. There was no one at the games. It's like terrible.
In 1977 and 1978, the Washington Bullets, they were called the Bullets back then. They're the Wizards now.
Yep.
And the Seattle Supersonics, they played 2 years in a row. In 77, the Bullets beat Seattle. Seattle was young. They had Jack Sikma was young. They had Lonnie Shelton was young. And then 78, Seattle came back and they won the championship in 1978. But nobody saw those two championship series. No one saw them. So then in 79, no, I take that back. It was 78 and 79. 77, Portland Trailblazers. Trailblazers beat the 76ers in 77.
Bill Walton and Lucas. Walton and Lucas.
It was 78 and 79. Like the Bullets won in 78 and the Sonics won in 79. But what happened in 79 was the game between Indiana State and Michigan State Magic against Bird. That was a championship game in 1979 in March of 79, and that changed the NBA. That changed basketball because that game was so popular in college that by the time Magic and Larry got to the pros, they were already famous. And that's when, remember when we met Adam Silver, but remember when we met the commissioner or one of the head guys at the NHL, and the NHL guy said, our problem is we have to make the guys famous, but the NBA and the NFL, they're lucky. They're famous before they get there.
Yeah, we met Gary Bettman. It was Gary Bettman.
Yeah, he said that, right? And Bettman comes from the NBA. Bettman was actually David Stern's right-hand man. So what happened was in 79, when Magic and Bird squared off, and that was the most watched basketball game ever, that changed everything. Now everyone watched March Madness. So now when the players came to the NBA, they were already famous. Yeah, and it changed everything.
It was crazy, and a lot of people don't know that the Seattle Supersonics probably the last best star player on their team was Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And then they moved to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, he played there 1 year. No, he played 1 year. And then Russell Westbrook played 2 years, and then he played 1 year, I think, right?
Yeah, and then they moved to Oklahoma City, and there's rumors that Seattle's going to get an expansion team when Vegas gets their team.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring back the Supersonics, which is going to be great for Seattle because they love basketball there, and I think they really need that. And I think it's going to be great, and obviously it's going to be great for Vegas to have a team. But people don't know, like, on a side story back in the day, like a lot of people don't know things because, it's decades ago, but that we, did a show with Adam Silver, the NBA, and we met, David Stern. David Stern was a great guy. He was just funny too. He was funny. He was a funny guy.
Oh, he loved it. Yeah.
And he loved us. And Adam, remember that thing that Adam said to us? He was, as we were doing the show, he said to you, we like it because you make our players look so. What do you say? He
said you make our players look like regular guys.
Like regular guys. Yeah. And because
they were always, because everyone accused them of all the players of all being movie stars and prima donnas and stuff like that. But when they talk to us, like they're just talking to a couple of regular guys, and it made them look like regular guys.
And they had fun. It wasn't your average interview. And those guys loved it. That story, and the stories going up to it, and then after the show and everything. Like Bettman, we met him after the show because we were shopping around to the NHL and MLB, and then they didn't want to do it because the NBA already did it with us. And then we had that deal with John Landgraf, who runs FX Hulu. And we were running around going to meetings trying to do a version of the show, but more of a scripted, like kind of sitcom version with a writer. And it was funny. Remember, didn't we go to ESPN and we went like 20 something times to a meeting?
We met everyone at ESPN.
Yeah, and didn't we go and go and then finally we left one meeting after like the umpteenth meeting, and John Landgraf looked at me and he goes, I don't get it. He goes, it's like a mob meeting. He goes, we just keep having meetings. He goes, but nothing gets done. He goes, nothing gets said. But it was fun. And I sent you, in closing, an article from that guy. Who's that heavyset guy? He does NBA reporting.
Brian Windhurst.
Yeah. So I sent you a article that he talked about, and it was very interesting. He was saying that the NBA, the media, and just the advertisement of the NBA is hurting because everyone is just looking at a 3-point play or a dunk and a quick video and a tweet and all this. And he said it's being lost. Do you have that thing? I'm going to look it up. He said it's the game's being lost. He said in the thing. I'm going to look at it right now. It's a good. It was actually what he said was really interesting. Where the heck did that go? Okay, hang on, I got to look that up again. I like that guy. He's a fun guy. Why can't I see it?
Well, he became famous following LeBron James around. Like he knows LeBron James. He started with him.
Yeah, he says the NBA media right now, we're not in a great place because I think we're devaluing things that help build the league up. Like one of the things is storytelling. I couldn't believe he said that. And that's a big deal, telling the stories. He used to do that back in the day all the time. Teams and players. Everything is too short right now. People are too focused on a tweet, too focused on guys getting crossed over, guys getting dunked on, guys getting embarrassed, social media posts, not as much on storytelling and learning about players and their backgrounds, what I call chronicling the season. And that's us. And that's what we did way back. We did that. And, I said to you at the end of that, I said, maybe we get a chance to go do that again for someone. It could be the NFL, NBA, whoever, because if that guy says that, the powers to be in those leagues are understanding that. I know that's still going to be part of the makeup of today. Like, the short videos with a guy getting crossed over, his ankles broken, a dunk, et cetera, et cetera. But he is right. Part of it is losing. Like, I'd like to know a lot more about Steph Curry. I'd like to see a lot more of him.
Well, like the stories I just told you today. You didn't know that. His father tried to get him at Virginia Tech.
No, I mean, I'd like to see these stories and pop them out. So maybe that all will come back around. But that was a good talk because that was like 15 minutes about the Golden State Dallas game, which I'm going to go watch, and about a guy that really is unbelievably incredible. He's like an alien that as far as him shooting the ball. And for Reggie Miller, like you said, to say that's the best shooter ever. Reggie Miller, man, people that never really saw Reggie Miller or don't go back and look at Reggie Miller, the guy was insane.
He has the record for the most 3-pointers until Steph broke it. So broke it. He's the greatest shooter. Reggie Miller's a great shooter. Yeah, it's funny. And so then my son keeps saying that he's watching LeBron and he's saying like LeBron's lost a step and LeBron's not as explosive as he was. Yeah. And I said, you've been saying that for the last 3 years. I go, and last year he played 72 games and he averages like 25, like 8 and 8. I said he's not losing a step. And so then I'm telling him again this year, like the next game, LeBron goes for a triple-double, 21, 12, and 13. And I'm like, you're crazy. He's not losing a step. I go, I know that Father Time will eventually
look like that. It looks like that.
Yeah, but so I'm watching the game the other night. They're playing the Toronto Raptors, and the Lakers are on defense, and LeBron's covering a guy in the deep corner, right? So someone's got the ball out in the key on Toronto. Someone's like got the ball. They're starting the offense out on top of the key, and LeBron's like, he's in the deep corner. His guy's in the corner. So it's one of those plays where they penetrate and they dish to the corner, and the guy gets the corner 3-point jumper. So as the guy is starting to penetrate, someone pokes the ball away from the point guard in Toronto, and the ball rolls to LeBron. Like LeBron's in the deep corner. The ball bounces to LeBron. So now he's in the deep corner. There's probably 6 or 8 players like out at the midcourt area, right? LeBron gets the ball and he takes off. Like the ball bounces to him. He's in the deep corner. His guy's in the corner. LeBron's right next to this guy. Ball bounces, he picks it up, and he starts dribbling. Like 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, across half court, 4 dribbles, 5 dribbles, 1 step, 2 step, boom, at the rim. He flies by like 4 guys that are 21 years old, right?
It's crazy.
The last guy at the rim, he's like 6'8". He's a 21-year-old kid, right? LeBron just went 90 feet out of the 94 feet of the court. Like with 5 dribbles, he explodes all the way to the basket, lays it in like a power layup, and runs back down the court. And I'm going, My son's nuts. Like that guy's not done yet.
No, the thing is, because they look back like a decade ago, he was quicker and faster and all that, but the guy's still a freak. Like they say he spends like $1 million, $2 million on his body and his eating and weight training and all this. And now that science,
and
they
sleep.
got all these great things.
He's always talking about how important it is to sleep.
And you got to sleep, and I think he sleeps. I think he's like Brady. They sleep in the cold. They do like the cold thing. I do that too. I turn the heat down and I put all the fans on because I need the white noise. And they say, and I think, and so a lot of those guys back in the day didn't have that kind of luxury. But but even though he has that, it's still his talent. He's still a freak. He's still just way beyond.
Like he's 40 years old. He's gonna be 40.
Crazy.
He's gonna be 40 years old. 40. In a month.
Nuts.
He's in the 22nd year in the league, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I understand that Michael Jordan is considered the greatest of all time. And Michael Jordan's considered the GOAT. I get that. Like I can't argue with that. But what LeBron's doing the last 5 years, Jordan couldn't touch him.
No.
Like Jordan, when Jordan turned 37 or 38, he was nothing. Nothing like we saw. No. And then Kobe the same way. When Kobe was 36, 37, because of all the injuries, the torn Achilles and the knee injuries, everything, Kobe was nothing like we saw when he was in his 20s.
Yeah, because how old was Jordan when he went to the Wizards?
I think 37 or 38.
And he wasn't good. He wasn't that good anymore.
He wasn't good. I mean, he still had
the team sucked too, but
he was heavier, like he gained weight, he was heavier, and he played just 1 year. Like only played 1 year. So it's just that LeBron's been fortunate. He's had no injuries. He's never had a surgery.
It's crazy.
Surgery.
It's crazy. It's
crazy.
It's insane. But he's a freak like the guy behind me, like Tom Brady. They're freaks. These guys are freaks, and it's so great to watch it. Like sometimes you take things for granted, and like this conversation that we've been having, it goes from Curry to LeBron. I mentioned Brady. We mentioned Jordan, but I'm happy to watch this younger group. From when we grew up, just like I said, I love some of those older guys. I'm so happy that I watched when Kareem was Lou Alcindor, and you watch these guys like Oscar Robertson and these other guys. But Steph Curry, he's like a freak, and LeBron, those two guys, and even just in closing, if Anthony Davis could not get hurt. He's unbelievable, that guy. People get mad at him. He's 71 crazy.
He played 71 games last year. He didn't get hurt last year.
He's incredible. I don't care what they say. Put him at the 4, put him at the 5. That guy's got so much skill for that size. I'm trying to think if I ever saw a guy that size with that much skill.
No.
Hakeem Olajuwon? No. Yeah, he couldn't make a 3.
No, Hakeem didn't shoot threes. Hakeem was great. I mean,
great, so who?
Not like AD. No.
I mean, no. Even Kareem back in the day didn't shoot threes. This guy could shoot a 3. This guy's crazy.
Oh my God!
Like, I look at him and I'm like, man, we're fortunate to have him on the Lakers. I mean, we're Laker fans. I was like, I'm so sick of people talking about him. The guy's great. The guy's 35 points, 15 rebounds. I'm like, what do you want?
Well, it's funny. It's funny. We talked about Steph and LeBron, and I didn't even realize this, but we just won the gold medal in the Olympics, right? We just had the Olympics won the gold medal. Well, LeBron and Steph they got the highest minutes played. Like LeBron played more than anybody in the Olympics, and he won the most valuable player for the Olympics. And Steph won the last 2 games. Steph like he was like 9 out of 14 or 11 out of 14.
Yeah, single-handedly, he won those games. The guy.
It's so funny. We got Anthony Edwards, and we got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, no, he's a Canadian. So we have all these young guys now, taking over the league. But when we get to the Olympic, when we get to the finals, the main 3 players were LeBron, AD, and Steph.
Yeah, you still lean on those guys.
It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. But let's quickly. That was good, man. Because I get into hoops when it comes out. We'll talk more next week too, because I want to talk about the Lakers more and JJ Redick and the lineups and stuff. Because I want to throw some stuff at you and see what you think. But let's cut into NFL just real quick. I want to talk about something. I was looking at my notes the other day and I was laughing and I said, you know what? The AFC East, The AFC East is exactly what it used to be when New England dominated. And now, I mean, I know Miami has had an injury with Tua, but New England used to dominate and that division sucked. And now it's just Buffalo and everybody else sucks. Like the AFC East, those Jets, you know, I love what's happening because I'm so sick of this Aaron Rodgers. It's like, oh, their coach and then this coach and then this, and I need a receiver and all this. They stink. They stink more than the Giants, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. The Giants stink. They both stink. I was just telling someone the other day, Barry,
New York stinks. New York.
I was just telling one of my buddies. I was telling my buddy that you could combine the Giants and the Jets right now and combine the best 50 players on both teams, and they still wouldn't make the playoffs.
That's funny.
They still wouldn't make the playoffs. Listen, you could take that Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle from the Giants, and you could take Quinnen Williams or whatever his name is, the other defensive tackle from the Jets, and then you could take the Thibodeau from the Giants, and you could take the other guy from the Jets, and they're still not going to win.
They still stink. But I was looking at the division. I was because I always look at the records because I'm always looking in the NFC, but I look at the AFC too. Like I'm looking at the records because I'm looking division champ, wild card. Try to eliminate guys. I was laughing. I go, look at these guys. I go, no wonder Kansas City runs away with it all the time. Pittsburgh's finally playing good, and you got Baltimore and you got Buffalo. Okay, who else you got? There's nobody. You got Kansas City. No wonder they're blowing through it, and Buffalo should be really happy because I even think if Miami was healthy, it wouldn't matter. That division is such a stupid division. It's always been a stupid division.
Buffalo's not that good.
No, that's what I mean. And they're in first place. They only got 2-3 losses.
So listen,
it stinks.
Listen, I'm going to give you a homework assignment, buddy. Okay, because I know that you're really good. You're really good with homework. I want you to pull up the rosters of the Giants and Jets, right?
For next week.
I want you to combine them. I want you to give me 53 players from the Giants and Jets and come back to me and say, T, this is my team. This is the Jet Giants. This is
the funny thing is too, they're getting hammered.
This is my team. This is the Jet Giants. And then you tell me who the running backs are, and then I'm going to say to you, Barry, is this a playoff team? And you're going to go, I don't know.
No, I mean, they're not. I mean, I just love that. Like now, I'm finally, I think this is the thing though about like McAfee will have Aaron Rodgers on again, and they'll still talk about the Jets because it's a New York market. They'll keep talking about the Jets and the Giants, and they just talk about it's like a soap opera. It's like listening to people talk about the Young and the Restless or General Hospital. It's like, can we just start talking about it? They stink.
But here's the latest thing with the Giants. So 2 years ago, not last offseason, the offseason before, they signed Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $160 million contract, right? Where he's $40 million. But, it was one of those contracts where I think most of the money was guaranteed the first 2 years, and this is the second year in the contract. And so they decided to sign Daniel Jones instead of Saquon, so they couldn't sign Saquon this year. They let Saquon go to the Eagles, right? Okay, so now it's the second year. It's halfway through the season, and the Giants have already determined that Daniel Jones is not going to be their quarterback in the future, right? So here's the problem. Now, if he gets hurt this year, then there's a $28 million guarantee that kicks in for next year. So the Giants cannot play him the rest of the year. They got to bench him. They can't even bring him in off the bench for one play.
That's fine.
If he stubs his toe and he says, I'm injured, they're going to have to pay him like $20-something million next year. They don't want him anymore. They just signed him. Here, Barry, they signed him 18 months ago. I mean, look it up. 18 months ago.
That's not long ago. That's not that long ago.
Yeah, but I told you this all the time. NBA teams do this too. They negotiate with their quarterback or with whatever, the wide receiver, and they sign him to like a mammoth deal, right? Like a big extension. And then literally 18 months later, they're like, we don't want him. We don't want him. Like, we're done with him.
Yeah, and the guy the guy they should have kept went on their division rival, and he's freaking jumping over guys backwards and scoring touchdowns, running over like a maniac.
He's like freaking Mary Lou Retton off a
you see him that back. He did that back thing over the guy's helmet. It was like an ice skating maneuver.
It was
like Tanya
ridiculous.
Harding.
The guy, listen, Barry, the guy is so good.
So
he could have he could have played with the Tommy DeVito and been good. If they just put Tommy DeVito in a quarterback and signed him, they'd have been
hand
better
the ball.
off.
Yes. And they got their receiver. They got the first round receiver Neighbors that came in. We're dumb, but the Jets are even dumber. So like Aaron Rodgers, if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're his age, do you just kind of go, okay, I don't want to play no more?
Listen, I can't figure out Aaron Rodgers. I can't figure him out. Like, I don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers. My father hates him with a vengeance. He hates him. Because Aaron Rodgers is always doing something political. He's always saying something.
I know. Yeah, he's always got something going on. Yeah.
I don't even know what he's talking about. He's always talking about something political, and my father's like, my father can't stand him. Well, I don't have a strong feeling on him one way or the other.
Me neither. He is who he is. Like, who's the backup on that team?
The guy who used to be the backup on the Giants. They got Tyrod Taylor. He's the backup.
They should just put him in for a few games, because if I was Rodgers, I'd be like, this experiment's over. He's going to move on.
They're 3-6. They still think they got a shot.
They're nuts. They do. The only reason they may have a shot is I don't know how many games they have left in that division, because they got to play all those teams twice in that division, and they're in the worst division in football. So maybe, is that division actually worse than the Saints division? Yeah, it is. It is worse.
The other thing that bothers me about the Jets, and we never really talked about this before.
I got to look.
They got this cornerback, right? They got the star cornerback from the University of Cincinnati. They drafted a few years ago. His name is Sauce Gardner. You know Sauce Gardner?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Barry. I don't know Sauce Gardner's real first name, right? I don't know his first name. Now here's my thing. Are you there?
Yeah, he don't have a first name.
Listen, here's my thing. If you come into the league with a nickname, if they draft you and you got a nickname, Sauce, right, because you cover everything, that's bullshit. Like, that means that you ain't shit. That's a phony nickname.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Maybe maybe his middle name's Sauce and his first name's Hot.
No, it's his nickname. They named him Sauce because he covers everything. Like they named him Sauce.
Like a sauce,
right? Like, give me a break. Like, give me a break, Sauce. You're not. You don't cover nothing.
They're even they're even worse. I looked it up. Yeah, even the Indy division. Yeah, that Buffalo's 8-2. Miami's 3-6. The Jets are 3-7, and New England's 3-7. That division's so bad, bad. It is. And then my Vikings got to be in that damn NFC North. But anyway, I had to ask you that because the funny thing was, like 4 weeks ago, or 5 weeks, 4 weeks when they fired that guy, it was supposed to be, okay, now we're going to do this, and we're going to get the new coordinator in there. Aaron Rodgers, they got rid of that Hackett guy, and they demoted him or whatever. And it was supposed to be good. Then they got Devontae Adams, and they're going to do this. They actually got worse, I think. It's like, you see Kyler Murray run around on them, that little Kyler Murray with the big hat, he was killing them.
Well, that team's good. That team's really good. Yeah,
he was toying with him. That little guy. Love that guy. But I guess for me, I just get sick of hearing about, like, people always talk about. They get sick of hearing about the Lakers. The big market teams, the teams with the dynasties and stuff. I get sick of talking about the Jets and the Giants. I mean, come on.
Well, I told you I can't stand teams that suck every year, and the Jets have sucked 50 years in a row. Like, the Jets have never been good. The Jets have never been good.
Yeah.
I never saw Joe Namath play. Like, Joe Namath was before my time.
Yeah,
I never saw him.
No.
So as long as I've been watching football, the Jets have been terrible. I hate teams like that. That's why I hate the Chicago Cubs. They've been good 2 years in my life. Yeah, they were good in 2000. They were good in 2016 or 15 and 16, and that's it. They were good 2 years in my entire life. Like, I hate teams that suck every year.
I don't know. I think sometimes I just get crazy because I know these guys are the best of the best, and it's like impossible to make a professional sports team. But then sometimes, and I know they're playing against the best of the best, but then sometimes these guys, I'm just like, I don't get it anymore. The money, like I don't even understand how they gave Daniel Jones that money in comparison just to the work that Barkley put in. If you look at both of them during the time, I don't even understand. I don't care he's a quarterback.
It's so. I told you last year we talked about this. I told you that these teams are afraid to let the quarterback walk out the door because everyone's always telling them that, you know, you're lucky to have him. Like Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, you know, Daniel Jones. These guys all suck. Russell Wilson, not Derek Carr. Like, all these quarterbacks are terrible. And they're so afraid to let these guys walk out the door. You know, you just let them go. Let them go. And what's going on?
Well, it's not, because it is stupid. Like just real quick, I want to talk about that Cousins things because, you know, all the Minnesota fans are killing Darnold. Now, I know he didn't play good. He had 3 INTs. He didn't play good. And I know why that happened because he was dishing it to TJ, to Addison, to Jones, and then they get down near the 30 those 3 times, and they got to get JJ involved, and JJ it wasn't happening. I don't know who the guy was guarding him. The guy was doing a good job, and he was forcing it into him, and that play was to JJ those 3 times he got picked. One time I don't even think he got picked. I think it was trapped. But you know what? It is what it is. He got 3 INTs. They still won the game. Kirk Cousins had 1 INT and no TDs. They got beat by the Saints. So the Vikings could have got beat by the Jags, but I think like the Saints are 6-4 and they're in first, and the Vikings are 7-2 in second of the NFC North. Like, I think people just get crazy. It's like, look, the guy is what he is. Cousins is what he is. It's an overall sport. It's an overall team. The Vikings got lights out defense, and the guy's going to play bad. He's going to get some INTs. Jared Goff had 5 INTs. 5 INTs, and they won the game.
He's another one. You know, like these quarterbacks, they sign these guys to these huge contracts, and they're not any good.
No, and you know, but the thing is, sometimes these young guys, I have only seen that Jaden Daniels play well, and he hasn't played spectacular, but he's played well. Of the young guys, I see Bo Nix a little here and there, and now they got what's his face is in Drake May. But, you know, now the Vikings, I don't know if you know this, but that J.J. McCarthy, they had to go back in his knee.
Yeah, that's great. That's just
He had swelling. He had swelling in the rehab. They had to go back in. This guy is like soft. Like, I don't know what kind of development he's got around his knee, but I'm going to tell you one thing, buddy. Remember when we were kids and we'd go do those curls on the machine to get the muscles around the knee? I don't think this guy ever did any of those because he should have never tore the meniscus. He should have just had a sprain. Like, now they had to go back in. I'm like, they had to go back in and give him some kind of bio shot. What is this thing? Wait a minute. They gave him it's still good. He's right back on schedule. They did a biologic injection intended to address the swelling in the knee that developed after an increase in activity during the rehab. He's already swelling up in rehab during the activity. What's he going to do when he gets on the field? And all these Viking fans want to go put Sam Darnold on a cross like a witch, you know, like, it's like, relax. We may need him next year still. We may still need to sign him.
You're going to need him for sure. What do you mean?
Yes, because this guy's like peanut brittle, and you know, I just like you said, but that is why what I just said and what you said.
What did you say to my ex-wife years ago when her and I were training for the LA Marathon and she had to bow out for the bad knee? Right? Remember what you said to her? You said, "You're done. You're all done." Yeah,
I told her it was over. Yeah, she didn't think it was over. I said
because the knee was so going up the training.
I told her, I said, that's it. It's over. You got like some torn meniscus, maybe a sprained ligament. Yeah, you're gonna have to go in there and clean that thing up, and you're never going to be the same. And what happened? Was I right?
Yeah, no. I mean, she couldn't do the run. Yeah, she can't. Her knee still swells up.
Yeah. See, did she go get a scope?
No.
Well, that's why you got to go get that stuff out of there because the knee. Me and you went to a great doctor at USC, the sports medicine doctor, and he showed me my knee. I know he showed you yours, and it looks like cobwebs when they do the MRI, and that stuff gets frayed over time, and the meniscus and gets stuck in the joint, and it causes what?
I gotta
it causes what, Tom? What's it called?
Well, scar tissue.
No, when it gets stuck in the joint and it causes swelling, what's that called? Tendonitis, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Tendonitis.
And your wife didn't believe me. She thought, it will just be okay. It will be okay. And what happened? That was done.
You're done.
And she got mad at me when I said that because I just was very nonchalant. You're done.
Yeah, you said you're done. You're
because
done.
me and you have seen it. We've gone through those things, and we've seen guys go down.
Yeah, well, like I told you, my doctor a couple of years ago, I went in because my knee, I couldn't pull my leg all the way back. I couldn't pull my foot all the way back. I woke up, it swelled up, and so I know that I got no cartilage because I had the surgery done on that knee, and I know it's all damaged. So I go in and give me all the MRIs, and then I come back to the doctor, and she says, yeah, you need a knee replacement. And I said, oh yeah, I do. She said, yeah. She goes, your ACL. She said your ACL is still intact, and I had that surgery done 30 years ago. She goes, your ACL is still intact, but you have no cartilage left in your knee. You're bone on bone, and you're going to need a new knee. And I said, okay. So she set me up with the doctor. So I go see the other doctor. I go in there, and he looks at this up. He goes, yeah, you need a new knee. I can set you up next week. And I was like, whoa,
yeah.
Easy.
Float out of there. Hang on.
Break sign. So just give me some time. And so then as time went by, I kept doing the yoga. And so the knee, I got all kinds of stuff floating around in there, man. I got peanut brittle in the knee.
Yeah.
But the swelling went down, and I got the full range of motion back. I can pull my heel all the way back up against my butt. So I'm not getting a knee replacement.
No.
I gotta.
No. Do you take glucosamine and chondroitin, whatever it is?
No, I take Modelo Especial.
No, but you got to take the glucosamine with chondroitin, whatever it's called. I've been taking that since I was 18 years old.
I take the collagen. I got the powder. I take the collagen peptides, which is the same thing.
Yeah, to help lubricate. It helps lubricate. So a lot of pro athletes, though, take those pills, the chondroitin and glucosamine combo.
I don't like, my wife.
I know you don't want to take the pill. So then,
I'm not a big pill guy.
You're taking the other thing, but I'll tell you right now, I've seen knee replacements. You ain't doing no knee replacement
listen. I can
look if you were down on if you were falling down every minute and guys were robbing you, like taking your money,
or just an agony.
If you're in agony, or you had to have a walker with the tennis balls on the bottom. If you had to have a walker with the tennis balls on the bottom, and you were falling down, I don't care if you had the walker. I'd say you're still not getting the knee. But say you had the walker and you were out in Vegas on the Strip, and you had the tennis balls there, and you were falling down, and some of these hoodlums were robbing you, then I'd say maybe you need to get the knee. But you're not. That's not happening for you. No. You don't live in a bad neighborhood anyway. You ain't going to be in no trouble.
No, I'm okay. Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah.
I just golfed 36 holes the last 2 years.
Yeah, that guy. So that doctor, they want to sell you on it. It's like, no.
They're like, ching, 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 knee replacement.
No. Yeah, they like that insurance. They see that insurance will cover it. They love that stuff.
You're nuts.
All right, let's go. We got Father Tony. He's been sitting there in a confessional. Father Tony's been in the confessional. Let me hang on. I got to get Father Tony in here. I got to get the windows for Father Tony first, though, because then he'll come right in here. All right, let me add Father Tony. There he is. Father Tony is back. No, Father Tony, we missed you a couple weeks. I knew you had something. You went to some children's hospital and dressed like Dracula.
Yeah, just like Dracula. It's for the kids, right? It's for the kids.
Yeah, but isn't that Tommy? Tommy wants to ask you about that.
I got a couple quick questions for you. Father. All right. First of all, in the previous 45 minutes, I know you've been on a while. I apologize that you had to wait so long. But what did you gather? What did you glom on from what we've spoken about thus far in the show today? Like, what's the one thing that resonated with you that we've talked about, if anything?
One, you don't like the Jets. You never liked the Jets. You don't like losers. Two, you got a problem with this guy's sauce. All right.
See, wait, Father, thank you, because Barry missed that because he was doing research. But listen, Barry, you missed this. I'm glad you brought this up because the guy came into the league with a nickname that where'd you get that nickname in junior high school? Get out of here with that nickname. You got to earn the nickname in the NFL.
Exactly.
He didn't earn it yet. Okay.
Thank you.
In his defense, all right, they call me praise because I bless everything.
But you've been through the ringer to get that nickname.
You earned that. You earned that.
You're a man of the cloth,
Father. The sacrifices you made.
Yeah.
Like I know you've mentioned to me a couple times about Sister Stella. The sacrifices that you've made, Father. Like I know. So you've earned that.
Sister Stella.
Uh-oh.
Forget about
That sounds like he almost left the church.
Listen, so you earn praise, but what I'm saying is you can't come into the league with a nickname about like how great you are. Sauce Gardner. What? No, you're not. And then that's what he calls him that. You're not Sauce Gardner. Excuse me. You're not Sauce Gardner.
I'll bet you anything he gave it to himself.
Yeah, he gave it to himself.
Whatever you want to bet.
Yeah.
You know what? He probably did. So what else? Did you learn anything else? Like you got Sauce. We hate the Jets. We hate losers.
But I'm glad that you did. I just wanted to know what resonated with you because people are listening. Some people are huge sports fans. Some people, they're like,
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what caught your ear.
Those were the things.
Okay, good. Okay.
And then then you went to the children's thing, and that was a good thing for you to do. You couldn't make the show. We understand. You dressed like Dracula, and then did you do any special stuff on Halloween?
I just hung around the church, handed out candy for the kids that came up to the church.
Can you dress up in an outfit for that, or do you wear your regular man of the cloth outfit?
I dressed up as Dracula for the kids.
Oh, you did. Oh, you used the outfit again 2 times.
Yeah,
And that's Tommy thought that might have been sacrilegious.
I spent a lot of money on my Dracula.
Right, Tommy?
It's top-notch Dracula outfit. I wear it every year.
But Tommy wants to know if dressing you as a man of the cloth and dressing like Dracula is sacrilegious. He mentioned that when I told him you were doing that.
Yeah, well, that's actually.
I was appalled, actually, Father. I was absolutely appalled.
Yeah,
you were appalled.
I was appalled.
You were appalled that I dressed up as Dracula.
I was floored.
You were floored. Okay.
Yeah.
You were appalled.
What other words can we come up with? Flabbergasted. He was flabbergasted.
It's a legitimate question because Dracula is an evil creature and all that stuff. But come on. God's got a sense of humor, right?
Okay, good.
Well,
they always say if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans.
There you go.
Oh, that's good. That's right. All right, so should we lead off with Father Tony's picks?
Yeah, let's go. But we know right now, Father Tony's in a little bit of a rut because the Saints are off this week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And guess what happened last week, Father Tony? They beat the Atlanta Falcons.
I had them last week.
Yeah, you had. They beat.
I saw that. I listened. I know this is going to come as a shock to T, but I was actually watching the last quarter of that game, and I was like, oh my God, they might pull this out. And then he threw that interception, and I was like, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a big win for them. A huge win. They got a new coach. They've got a new energy, and they like that coach. So. But they're off this week, so you got to find someone else on that. So have you done your research this week in between confessionals?
Yes. All my picks this week are going to be money lines. All right. I'm going back to my
roots. I love this guy. See?
Back to my roots. All right.
All right. I love it.
First one is tomorrow. Easy pick. All right. Easy. Eagles over the Mamalukes. That's my money.
He calls them Mamalukes. He gives them a new nickname. It's funny. It's not the Commanders. It's the Mamalukes.
I want them to lose every game.
So you're going to take money line. That's a really good idea because it's 3.5 -3.5 Philly at home. You know what? That's really a lock almost. I think.
Yeah.
At the money line.
I think so. Yeah.
The Eagles are going to crush them.
They're going to kill them. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Next one.
All right. This Sunday, you're going to like this, Barry. I want the Vikings over the Titans. Yes. One more time, money line. Let's go with that.
All right.
And sorry, T. I want the Jets over the Colts.
Oh, my.
I'm picking the Jets over the Colts.
Wow. Okay, well, so listen. You know what? Now, I got to tell you, Father, I actually like the Jets this week over the Colts. I think they're going to bounce back and have a pretty solid game, but they're not going to cover. The Colts are going to cover. The Colts got 4 points. The Colts are going to cover that game. But the pick of the week, the best pick of the week is whoever the Cowboys are playing, bet the church on them. Bet the entire earnings for that week. The Texans are playing the Cowboys this week. The Cowboys are getting 7.5 at home. The Cowboys won't score more than 3 points. Like they won't get more than 3 points. The Texans they're gonna murder them.
All right.
They're gonna. I mean, just the same way that the Eagles did, the same way that the Falcons did, the same way that everybody murders them. The Cowboys are the worst team in the NFL. I mean, they're worst. So that's the lock of the week: is whoever the Cowboys are playing, bet the house on.
So the Texans, would you take it -7.5 or -7?
I would even tease that up to 17. I would tease it up to 17. They're going to kill the Cowboys.
Oh my God!
It's not even going to be close. I mean, the other thing is the Texans are coming off of 2 losses in a row. They're a good team, and they're not screwing around. They're going to bury the Cowboys. The Cowboys can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They can't run, and they can't pass. All they could do is kick a field goal if they get within 50 yards.
And that guy's been iffy now. That great field goal kicker. He's not.
No. What if he hasn't missed a kick all year?
I thought he missed a couple in that one game.
No, you're not iffy. The only thing he's missed is he missed a 52-yarder by an inch like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's the best.
So when
you're thinking he's iffy because only in the way that the Cowboys could do it, he missed 2 weeks of practice for jury duty.
Really?
I mean, he missed 2 weeks of practice. This idiot couldn't get out of jury duty. Like, are you kidding me? Like
Jerry Jones couldn't get him out of jury duty.
No, Jerry Jones said he could get him out of jury duty, but the guy said, no, I don't want you to get me out of jury duty.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys offense is basically get to the
what? Father Tony, what? I'm telling the truth.
It's the truth.
He didn't want to get out of jury duty.
He didn't want to get out because he doesn't want to be on that team.
Listen,
no, you know why? Because Tommy, he doesn't want to be on that team because they get to the 50-yard line, they're going to ask him to kick a 67-yarder. His leg's going to fall off because they got no offense.
Father,
he's like, I'm taking off.
Right, but Father, listen. He's their only Pro Bowl player. He's the only guy that's going to make the Pro Bowl. The kicker. They're so bad. They're terrible.
I would love to have been in that locker room when they're like, "What do you mean? What do you mean he didn't want to get out of jury?"
He said something about his civic duty or something.
Good.
You know, listen. Let me tell you something. Father Tony. Let me tell you something. The way that we got jury duty set up to begin with is ridiculous. Like they summons the three of us. Say we live in the same area. Say we get a summons. They want us to go to jury duty, and somehow we get selected to sit on a trial, and we got to sit in jury duty for 2 or 3 weeks, and they want us to judge whether the guy's innocent or not. What do we know about the law? We know nothing. What do we know?
I don't know.
I mean, listen, Father Tony, you make a nice bolognese sauce, right? You know, like Barry, your family knows carpeting. Like,
I know how to install carpet, and I can bind an area rug.
I bind an area rug right us to sit on jury duty. You mean to tell me that you can't make jury duty like a professional job and like train people like this is what you do? This is the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah. And people need jobs. That's actually a good idea.
Make it a job.
Yeah. So that guy,
what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a jurist.
I'm a jurist.
Well, Father Tony's a priest. Everyone's got a job here. So, Tommy, so the Cowboys, you're going to take the Texans -7. You're going to tease it up from 7.5, like crazily, like whatever. You don't care.
That game isn't going to be close. It's 21-0 at the opening kickoff. That team stinks so bad.
And then what's your other 2 picks?
Well, I believe it or not, I like the Jets. You know, but I'm not taking the Jets. I'm not picking the Jets.
Oh, but you like
my other pick. Like my other pick is the Saints are playing, and I like the Saints.
Wait, where?
The Saints are playing.
They're playing the Browns at home. Yeah. Father Tony, the Saints are at home against the Browns.
Father, that was an honest mistake. I didn't want to mislead you and steering you away from the Saints.
I already had my picks. All right.
Okay. I see. That's smart. He's a smart man there.
Okay. All right.
So, Tommy, you're going to take the Saints -1 point pick-em game against the Browns?
I'm taking the Saints over the Browns, and I'm taking the Rams over the New England Patriots.
Wow. Okay, Rams. That's a good. The Rams played terrible last week. They're got to come back. The Patriots beat the Bears, and the Saints They're going to play home again, and the Browns, they won't win that game. And you're right, the Cowboys are terrible.
It's got Derek Carr back, so Derek Carr is their best quarterback.
And then you guys saw, Father Tony, did you see that there was a problem at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys played last week, that one of the receivers tried to catch the ball in the end zone, and they've got this glass wall, and the sun was coming through, and it blinded him, and he couldn't catch it? Did you see that?
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, so they have curtains, but they don't use the curtains during the NFL games. It's Jerry Jones, Mr. Multi-Billionaire, and the sun comes through, and one of their receivers, he tried to catch it, and then they showed the replay, and at the end of the catch, when he dropped it, he went, I can't see.
Okay, well, listen, though, let me give you the history of that, and this is going to be one of those one of those stories when you're driving across country and you're listening to a couple of idiots talk sports where, you might veer off the road. But there's a history to that, Barry, because the AT&T Stadium that Jerry Jones built, right, he replaced old Texas Stadium, right, where the Cowboys played for 30 or 40 years in old Texas Stadium, where Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman and they won 5 Super Bowls in the old Texas Stadium.
With that opening.
That stadium was built. All of the seats were covered like a dome, but there was a hole in the opening of that building, right? So there was a big hole, so the sun would shine in there also. But they asked Tex Schramm, who built Texas Stadium, they asked him, why do you have that opening there? Why didn't you just finish it off and make it a dome stadium? And he explained that God wants to see his team play. So he left a hole in the roof so God can see his favorite team play, right? So when Jerry Jones built this stadium, obviously this stadium is completely covered, but he has the same thing. It's the same theory that God wants to see his favorite team play. So that's why they have that. That's why he doesn't cover it up, because he feels like the team plays there every week. He feels like the players or the coaches should know when you're going to be looking into the sun. Jerry Jones feels like it should be a home field advantage, but yet the idiot coach for the Cowboys throws a pass with the sun behind the quarterback. So, it's just another reason why the Cowboys suck.
And Father Tony, back in the day in that old stadium that Tommy was talking about, I think Kirk Gowdy or somebody, when the sun used to come in and the beams used to come in through that hole, I think he made references to God, the announcer.
But
I didn't know that.
I think one time and God, the beams from above in the heavens, he would say, or something.
Yeah.
The guy.
Well, I know that Tex Ram said that they left a hole in the roof so God could see his favorite team play.
I think that's it's a nice sentiment, but judging from their record, I don't think God likes them very much.
No, he's got, well, again, like most athletic, endeavors, he's got way more important things to be doing. Like he's not watching the NFL.
Yeah, especially the Cowboys, and especially the Cowboys.
No, he's not watching the NFL. And
let me get to my over-unders.
It's a nice sentiment. It's sweet.
All right, my 3 over-unders. I'm going to be an over-under Barry here is going to take three over-unders. Yeah. I'm taking Thursday night Eagles Commanders over 48.5. I'm going to go 48. I'm going to take the Lions over the Jags. Even though the Jags don't really have an offense, it's 46.5. I think the Lions can score 47. So I'm going to take that one over. And then my other over is I'm going to take where are those guys? Bengals are the Chiefs. No, not the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Seahawks 49ers over 48.5. And I'm going to go 48. So I got my 3 over-unders, 49, okay. Seahawks over. I got the Lions game over, and I got the tomorrow game Commanders-Eagles over. Father Tony's got the Eagles over the Mamalukes money line, the Vikings over the Titans money line, and then he's got the Jets. Okay. And then he's got the Jets money line, and Tommy T's got the Texans minus whatever. They can be 50.
Yeah, they're just going to blow them out.
Yeah, Tommy's just gonna crush them, and then he's got the Saints -1. It's basically a pick 'em game home against the Browns. And your third game was not the Jets. It was where is that? What was your third one? Texans What was your third one, Tommy?
My third game is it's the Rams over New England. Rams over New England.
The Rams over New England. So we're going to go fresh week here, week 11 NFL. We're going to come back, all of us, 9-0.
Okay.
So Father Tony, Father Tony's getting really good at this too. If I think the last 2 weeks he's been above 500, if not a little even better than that. And now he's coming up with money lines. He's like really interesting.
Yeah.
This is the most attention Father Tony has paid toward one football season in his life. He's never paid,
but I think
he's never paid attention 6-7 weeks in a row to the NFL in your life, right, Father Tony?
In my life.
Yes.
Matter of fact, let me tell you something. The last 8 minutes of the Atlanta Saints game that I watched was the most football I've watched. And I've been to a couple of home games.
Oh, I love it, Father. I love it.
No, but it's good. We're bringing them in the fold, Tommy.
Are you having fun? Are you having fun with us, though?
I'm getting listen. I'm getting into it. I'm learning some stuff.
Good.
We're bringing them in the fold, Tommy. The gambling fold.
That's good. Okay.
All right. So do you want to bless us? You want to? And we got to go.
I got a good blessing. Bow your heads. Mighty Father, in the name of Jesus, we approach you in this time of need. We ask that your favor follow us while we bet with our hearts and our heads. In these wagers, may your goodness and mercies follow us to victory. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Thank you, Father. Okay.
Your lips to God's ears. Okay, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Barry D, Tommy T, Old Man Assessed with Father Tony. And remember, we won't try harder next time, right, Tommy? So don't even what?
Don't even ask.
Don't even ask, because this is what you're going to get.
Okay.
All right. Adios, everybody.